I became a UGC creator at 47. Now, I was a complete beginner and I made some mistakes, a lot of mistakes. That was a few years ago, and now I am approaching the big 5-0. So the first thing I want to say is forget what you thought you knew, because today I am going to help you skip through the mess that I went through. So if you've been thinking about starting UGC, especially if you are in your 30s, 40s, 50s, or beyond, grab your favorite drink to sip on and let's get started. Because this is a real talk that I wish I had before I became a UGC creator. And make sure you stay until the end, because I am going to share some harsh truths that every new UGC creator must know. Now, story time. Here's how I started. My daughter was in college and I wanted to help her earn some money on her own schedule and create some skills that can last throughout her career. So I did the research. I did hours of it, tons of it. I watched videos. I bought courses. I downloaded freebies. I read the Reddit threads. I looked at TikTok and all of the social media that you could possibly think of. I was all in. I was acting like I was prepping for a marketing final. I thought I was doing this for her. But in the process, I realized, wait a minute, I can kind of do this thing. There was a market for everyone, no matter how old, no matter your gender. And so I'm thinking, I know how brands think. I've worked with brands before. And this is a new space totally wide open to me that I can just take advantage of. And I'm just a shoe-in because I have some knowledge about marketing. So I dove in. I wasn't trying to become an influencer. I was trying to create freedom. Freedom of time, freedom of travel, and freedom to work around my life and not squeeze my life into my work. UGC looked perfect. And I'm thinking, perfect fit here. I can get products, try new things, get paid to create videos, work from anywhere, no huge following required. Sounds great, right? But there's a problem. I realized quickly that becoming a UGC creator is totally different. It doesn't matter if you spent years crafting campaigns, managing strategies, building brands. UGC is personal storytelling. It's about being relatable, trustworthy, and clear on camera, not super polished and perfect. And that disconnect tripped me up so hard. When I saw people creating content on TikTok and on Instagram, on different places, sharing the things that they loved, I never knew that so many of them were actually getting paid for just sharing their real thoughts on things, their real thoughts on products. Let me tell you, I jumped in hard. That cost me months of time and momentum. Why? Because I spent months building a UGC portfolio that I thought was professional. But come to find out, I was overthinking everything. I overthought the branding, the colors, the structure. I spent months creating a portfolio that I thought I could be proud of, to look at it later and realize that it sucked. I spent months creating a portfolio from things around my house because that's what I heard. People say, go pick out your favorite things around your house and put together a portfolio and present it to brands and you get business. No, it takes forever to find things around your house that you love and be able to sell them as a UGC creator or present them in a portfolio as a UGC creator. Why? Because you don't know what you're doing. And guess what? I put in my heart, my sweat and tears, and I loved what I was doing. And guess what? It absolutely sucked. Not only did it suck, but it literally sucked the life out of me. I was thinking to myself, like, that was a lot of work. I don't know if I really want to do this. And let me tell you why it sucked. It sucked because it failed to connect. It wasn't authentic enough. It was over polished. It was kind of too corporate. And it was missing that one thing that truly matters in UGC, relatability. Well, I kind of had some forced relatability because I have a little bit of experience doing TV commercials. But even though I had kind of a fake relatability thing going on, I wasn't vulnerable because I was so concerned that somebody would catch me in the wild. And that's a term that UGC creators use whenever you see your own product or somebody sees you out in a organic or maybe a paid ad and you just see it as you're scrolling. That's being found in the wild or out in the wild. So I'm not gonna lie, half of my stuff seemed like a crappy paid programming TV commercial. And if you know, you know. Yeah, think of those late nights, but wait, there's more. Anyway, nobody told me it sucked. I just knew it sucked. Then I was thinking, how long did this suck before I knew it sucked? And I got embarrassed because when I started, I thought I was crushing it. And I thought I was in high demand. I wasted so much time trying to create what I thought was a professional portfolio. and create professional content. But I wasn't speaking the language that brands actually cared about today. I was making UGC much harder than it had to be. So here's a reminder. Just because you know how to market a product in corporate world, or maybe you sold a few products for the school PTA, that does not mean you know how to create trust on camera. Just because you marketed a few widgets in 2003 doesn't mean you know how to speak to an iPhone camera in 2025 or 2026, 2027 or beyond. And the worst part, I hadn't started building a following either. I told myself I'd start posting once I had everything figured out. Looking back, I wish I just showed up. So here's what I wish I knew. I wish I could have ditched the polished portfolio that took me months to create and just started with 3 solid videos in a Google Drive. I wish I would have known that I didn't have to be perfect to be paid, and that showing up consistently online is more valuable than showing up flawlessly. Here's what shifted everything. I stopped caring about failing, and I started getting curious about the what ifs. What if I built some new skills and some new knowledge and got paid to do it? What if I responded to a brand and they actually said yes? What if I made a pitch to something that I wanted and I actually got it? What if I'm not too old? What if this is the thing that could help give me time, location, and financial freedom? That mindset shift was everything. I stopped hiding behind perfectionism and I started experimenting. I made videos that felt natural and the brand loved it. I ditched the perfect content mindset or the perfect portfolio mindset. And if I'm getting brand deals, who cares if it looks cringy? And when I finally let go of the thought that I had to look like a 20-year-old TikTok pro, I leaned into my own voice, my own rhythm, and my own strengths. And boom, that's what clicked. I'm not gonna lie, I was still getting brand deals even when my content sucked. And it could suck today. But that's not stopping my growth. I'm not gonna fall into the imposter syndrome. I create content for brands, and brands pay me to do that. The better I got at creating, the more comfortable I got. And the more comfortable I felt about setting boundaries. And I understood the importance of knowing my worth. So now I only choose to work with brands that resonate with me. I don't just say yes to every brand deal. I stopped getting crap because I stopped accepting crap. But I can only learn that because I was humble enough to accept crap to know that it was crap. You can't just jump in thinking you're queen bee or you're queen. You just can't jump in thinking you're royalty. There's rules to engagement. There actually are rules to engagement. And we're going to talk about that. So here's what I'd do differently. If I started all over, this is exactly what I'd do. I'd skip that stress and I'd start with 3 videos. You can pick and choose which one you'd like, but I'm going to give you a few to start with. Number 1, separately from those 3, I would have an intro. But if you don't do an intro, just make sure you at least have these 3 videos. But you have an intro that says who you are and why you create. You want to make sure that you have talking videos. So you've got like 3 videos. The more that you are actually showing your skills, the better. So you want these to be talking videos. Number 1, a product demo is a great idea. It's you actually using the product, you demoing using the product. Another idea that you can include in those 3 videos is a testimonial style video, like a casual review, where you're actually giving a testimony, like something that you tried and you enjoyed, and you're just giving a testimony about it. Another one is B-roll with voiceover. So say, for example, you're showing the lifestyle of what this product creates. So it could just be all B-roll and you have a voiceover on top of it. Another one, this is where you share your authentic story. Now, this is if you feel comfortable being natural and relatable and authentic on camera for a longer period of time. So that one is storytelling. Storytelling is really hot right now in UGC, where you're just kind of sharing a little bit about the product and it's just very, very organic. So you're not really saying, go buy this now. You're just talking about, wow, having this product really made a difference when I was teaching my 4-year-old how to read. And you're just sharing it as a story and you're kind of peeling back those emotional thoughts and reaching the audience in the same vein that maybe that product affected you. You know, like you were up late at night because you couldn't get your newborn to sleep. And you didn't know what to do and you were overwhelmed and you're frustrated and you're building this picture and you're telling the story and then you found this particular product that actually worked. Okay, that's storytelling. But make sure if you want to do storytelling that you are actually very comfortable and you sound authentic, or better yet, that you are authentic about the actual product. because like I know, we're getting smarter and smarter and better. Why didn't they just hire an actress and just pay for a regular ad? Why are they trying to pass this off as being, realistic? Because it's not. And so stay in the lane in which you drive best. If you are a slow driver, stay in the slow lane. If you're a fast driver, jump in that lane. So if you aren't ready for big time storytelling, don't do that because it just sounds really stupid. I just hate to say it. It sounds bad. But I digress because ultimately the key is including at least one, I would say all three of these videos with your voice. All you have to do after that is upload it to Google. Upload it to a Google Drive. There's no branding, no fluff, just you. Commit to a 5-day content challenge. Don't overthink, post daily for those 5 days. Build confidence through action. I got better by doing, not consuming more advice, and by building a following earlier, even if it's small. Your personal brand is your leverage. I wish I had started when I was still learning because people love the journey and your audience can grow with you and they can see your growth. And it's like you have like this little team of cheerleaders behind you that's just cheering you on. And they're looking and waiting to see, did you get the brand deal? What happened here? All those different things. So you don't just have to create content around being a UGC creator, create content around you and just implement some of the things that you're doing as a UGC creator. I do not advise you to create a UGC creator social media account anymore. I say use your personal account and include UGC inside of it because as you evolve and you start doing things, you're going to branch out beyond just UGC. And it makes it easier for you to actually be a full brand versus just a UGC creator. You actually are setting yourself up to grow into an influencer or other things that go beyond UGC creation. Anyway, since I'm sharing thoughts, let's talk about the harsh truth. Don't believe the hype. Don't believe the hype when you see creators saying, I got paid $300 for a 30-second video to wash my hair. Because first off, how long did it take you to set up your camera and your tripod? How many times did you move your tripod where you weren't showing your real life in the background? Your goodies or your 1,001 thoughts and emotions on your face? How many times did it take you to get that perfect 10-second shot? And how many times did you have to remember a word that you couldn't pronounce? How many times did you email the brand back and forth before you came to a deal you both agreed on? How many times did you have to read the instructions over and over again in order to actually really know how to apply the product or use the product? And I'm just getting started. So what I'm telling you is to be humble. Take time to learn this process. This isn't a race, it's a marathon. And some creators that you see today, you won't see tomorrow. You may have to do 5 or 6 gifted collabs before you get your first paid one. But don't get discouraged because this just means you're getting more training before you have the pressure of having to deliver for a paid concept. Also, I want you to see UGC as a jumping off point or gateway to something more, be it creating digital products, becoming a coach, a full-time content creator, starting an agency, being a full-time influencer, and beyond, whatever your heart desires. While I was doing all of this research for my daughter, I created some pretty awesome digital products around UGC. That side door became a new stream of income even before I became a UGC creator myself. I focused on what I knew that I knew. I did not go into the line of telling people how to create portfolios or how to create the content yet. But once I figured that out, I was able to make those changes. And I had digital products on UGC creation. I was able to offer digital products for UGC creators. Now I get to teach you about my experience and how you can do the same, but skipping all of the time that I spent in order to get it right. Use UGC as your springboard into content creation, into partnerships, and into freedom. If you're sitting there wondering it's too late, stop. You're right on time. What helped me most was giving myself permission to show up imperfectly. And you don't have to have it all figured out first. You just need to start small and start smart. You don't need a 6-week program. You need to just take the first step. And if you haven't started already, I have a free 5-day content challenge. Click the link below and get started for free. You deserve to give yourself 5 days of focused action. It's totally free and it includes guided emails, a daily guided email straight to your inbox, and 60 credits to the AI Content Creator Toolkit. I'm telling you, it may be a little bit tough, I'm not gonna lie, but 5 days of consistently taking a step will give you the momentum that you need. I am so glad that you are here. If you have heard any value of the content that I created today, please share it with someone who needs to hear it. Then like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell because you don't want to miss the next video. So if you're ready, I'm ready, let's grow.